Welcome back to Forging a Stoic mini-series, where we are going book by book meditations presented by Hazy Headed, where I will be going over chapter 11. We've got two more, this one and one more, and this has been a great series so far. So thank you all for everyone who joined the ride. In this one, it started out with another bang, just like the last chapter. The wisdom is ancient. The wisdom is amazing. Characteristics of the rational soul: self-perception, self-examination, and the power to make itself whatever it wants. It reaps its own harvest, unlike plants, whose yield is gathered in by others. It reaches its intended goal, no matter where the limit of its life is set. Not like dancing in theater and things like that, where the performance is incomplete if it's broken off in the middle. But at any point, no matter which one you pick, it has fulfilled its mission, done its work completely, so that it can say, I have what I came for. This is a lot to do with manifestation. I could not believe it when I was reading this. It's self-perception, self-examination, and the power of itself, and the power to make of itself whatever it wants. Think about that. Look at how much opportunity is at your fingertips. What is your dream? I've asked you 1,000 times. I wish I could ask the world that. What is your dream? Your soul kind of has a instinct. Your mind has an instinct that it knows what it wants. A lot of times we distract ourselves because we're very afraid to go off that beaten path. You know, if you wake up in the morning and you drag ass to your 9 to 5 and you're not thinking of ways to escape, you're not thinking of ways to expand your mind or consciousness, you're not living. You're surviving. You are in a place where you know what you want. You know in the back of your head, but you're scared of judgment from others, from family, from friends. And guess what? At the end of the day, if they're really good family and friends, they're going to want the best for you. So, money's real. Money is something that you have to think of realistically. But once you get to that set amount, once you've done your homework and research and you've realized how much you need to make your dreams come true, why not fight for them? Why not just send it? That's the beautiful thing about this passage, is that self-perception, self-examination, it reaps its own harvest. It gets you whatever you want. I think if you align yourself in a way where you have put everything together, you've put everything on the line, you've worked hard for what you believe in, I think there's no choice but to be rewarded. Because at the end of the day, there is going to be a time where you wake up and you look around and you're either going to say, wow, I tried everything I could to make my dreams happen. Maybe I failed. Maybe I succeeded. But you don't want to be that person that wakes up and thinks, did I do everything I could have? Did I take that risk? Did I live abroad for a while? Did I jump to that new city? Did I ask that girl out? How much regret have you left on the dinner table? Because, folks, it's not going to be long. I'm already 23, and I know that's very young, and I'm not ignorant to say that life is passing me by, but I do feel time goes quickly. It's almost the end of the year. It's unbelievable. It's the 8th month out of 12. So we're on the last quarter of the year, and I'm just thinking to myself, think about everything I could have done, this and that, but there's no time for regret. All you can do is step forward, and I think that's important. The next one was 15. So let's pull this up here. Back to 15. Passage 15 of Book 11, Meditations. The despicable phoniness of people who say, listen, I'm going to level with you here. What does that mean? It shouldn't even need to be said. It should be obvious, written in block letters on your forehead. It should be audible in your voice, visible in your eyes, like a lover who looks into your face and takes in the whole story at a glance. A straightforward, honest person should be like someone who stinks. When you're in the same room with them, you know it. But false straightforwardness is like a knife in the back. False friendship is the worst. Avoid it at all costs. If you're honest and straightforward and mean well, it should show in your eyes. It should be unmistakable. Again, being genuine is very important. Being legitimate with your conversations, with your words, with your actions. There's nothing worse than a fake person. It's actually interesting. Those of you who know Theo Von, he's a very popular podcaster and comedian. I was just watching his interview on Hot Ones. But it stuck out to me because he was talking to someone and he was saying that, I feel like my kindness is fake, and I just was wondering what you think of this. And his guest was going into it pretty much saying that it's kind of like a misguided train of thought because it comes from a lack of confidence, yes. But I think at the end of the day, being a nice guy versus being someone that's kind is so vastly different that it's not even funny. The nice guy is not confident. He has no sense of self-worth or anything, so he lets people walk over him. A kind person is strong and is an individual that people look up to and can believe in themselves. And, I think maybe the best thing to start doing is getting into that spot of self-awareness where you have realized that you have been phony. I think it's part of the human condition to maybe fake an emotion or fake what you're thinking. But I think if you can minimize that and you live within your truth more often, and you're not afraid to put all your beliefs out there and really stand by them, stand on business, believe what you're saying, I think that's much more important than anything else. And it's crazy. Marcus Aurelius points that out because it's still so prevalent today. It blows my mind that a book this ancient, ancient Greece, ancient Roman ruler wrote this, that it's still so prevalent. It's like the human mind is the same, has been the same forever. Even with access to resources and everything like that, we still use things to distract ourselves, anything to not think of these things, because this is the nitty gritty. This is the truth. This is Stoicism that I've gathered so far with reading this is you are going to die. People are going to judge you. You've got a goal to create. You've got to live with purpose, work hard, fight for what you believe in. And it's so simple when you think about it, but people don't. People want to focus their energy on trivial stuff. I don't know why that is. I don't know why so many people lack that wanting to learn, wanting to just take a slice of life. I think it's scary. I think everyone needs to read this. I think people need to open their mind, expand their minds for the better. Don't just live in your religion. And, I don't think religion's bad. If you're Christian, Islamic, etc., that's great. But I think this is a foundation of the code, like a foundational code of existence. Find a philosophy that you're interested, that you like, that you're going to be able to sink your teeth in, and learn about it. Try to implement some things. I think you'll be a better person from it. But what do I know? I think you do what you want. But if you're on this journey with me, send me an email, send me a text, send me an Instagram DM. I'd love to talk about this on or off the pod, anything. Find your tribe. I'm kind of a lone wolf right now, which is not a problem. I think community is important. I want to try to find that community, but, hit me up. Let me know. Let's discuss further on this. So yeah, definitely. Next up is the last one, 21 here on 21. If you don't have a consistent goal in life, you can't live in a consistent way. unhelpful unless you specify a goal. There's no common benchmark for all the things that people think are good, except for a few, the ones that affect us all. So the goal should be a common one, a civic one. If you direct all your energy towards that, your actions will be consistent, and so will you. Isn't that funny? We were just talking about that. I think it's important to do something that you love that can positively affect a lot of people. I think us growing as a society, we're going to have to continue to work hard together. We're going to have to collaborate. We're going to have to think of different ideas. But, I have this dream once I make it, once everything falls into place for me after I've worked hard with the content or, pursuing my acting career, anything like that. Once I make it, once I've worked hard, once everything falls into place, I've got a lot of dreams for charity, like foundations and stuff like that. And, I wish I could do it now, but I need a extreme amount of resources to be able to do that. So that's why it's important to focus on what you're doing, make a lot of money, and give it back, return it to people, because I'm not going to die with it. I'm not somebody who cares about fancy things. I might have a mansion, might have some fancy sports cars, whatever. A little funny money, but then once all that's done, who cares? Money needs to be given back to people who need it, rehabilitation centers for people struggling with addiction, homeless shelters. There's so many things that you can provide for people where it is helping them on a ground level rather than just a quick fix of money, because that's not going to help anyone. So I think that's really important. And so work hard, give back, and above all, don't complain. Just keep working. Thank you. That has been Book of 11 of Meditations. We are rolling right along. I'm kind of sad to think we only have one more episode. So thank you all for joining me on this ride so far, and we're going to continue and finish strong. Thank you.